I always thought Julia and I were solid. We'd been married 3 years, and I trusted her with everything. She was ambitious, always chasing the next promotion. I was proud of her. I told everyone, my wife's a star. The night before her trip, she packed her suitcase in the living room. Eric wants me to lead the client pitch in Miami, she said, folding her blazer. It's a big deal. I grinned. You'll crush it. Just don't forget to call me. She smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. I'll try. It'll be busy. I hugged her from behind. I'll miss you. She leaned into me. I'll miss you too. Ben, my best friend, texted me that night. You ready for a week of frozen pizza and video games? I laughed. You know it. Julia left early the next morning. She kissed me on the cheek. Don't burn the house down. I waved as she got in the cab. Bring me back something from the beach. She rolled her eyes. It's a business trip, Alex. I watched her drive away, already counting the days until she'd be back. The first day was fine. I went to work, came home, made pasta, and watched a movie. Julia texted, landed safe. Hotel's nice. I replied, send pics. She sent a photo of her view, blue sky, palm trees, a sliver of ocean. Ben called. How's bachelor life? I laughed. Lonely. I already miss her. He teased. You're hopeless. The next day, Julia called during lunch. Sorry, can't talk long. Eric's got us in meetings all day. I said, no worries. Knock him dead. She sounded distracted. I'll call tonight. But she didn't. I waited, phone in hand, until midnight. No call. I texted, everything okay? No reply. Ben came over the next evening. He brought pizza and beer. You look rough. I shrugged. She's just busy. He raised an eyebrow. You sure? She usually calls. I nodded. It's a big project. I trust her. He changed the subject. Let's play FIFA. Loser does the dishes. I grinned. You're on. We've played for hours. I tried not to check my phone, but I couldn't help it. Julia finally texted at 1 a.m. Sorry. Long day. Exhausted. Love you. I replied. Love you too. Sleep well. The next morning, I made coffee and scrolled through her messages. They were short, rushed. No emojis, no inside jokes. I tried to ignore the knot in my stomach. At work, I told myself, she's just tired. She'll be back soon. Ben texted, you okay? I replied, yeah. Just miss her. He sent a thumbs up. That night, Julia called. Her voice was flat. Hey, I smiled. Hey, beautiful. How's Miami? She hesitated. Busy. Eric's pushing us hard. I tried to joke. Don't let him work you to death. She didn't laugh. I'll be home soon. I said, I can't wait. She hung up quickly. I stared at the phone, uneasy. The week dragged on. Julia's calls got shorter. Sometimes she didn't call at all. I started to worry, but I told myself not to be paranoid. Ben came over again. You sure everything's okay? I forced a smile. Yeah, she's just focused. He looked at me. You'd tell me if something was wrong, right? I nodded. Of course. But I wasn't sure anymore. The night before Julia was supposed to come home, she texted, flight's delayed. Might be late, I replied. I'll wait up. I sat on the couch, watching the clock. Midnight. 1 a.m., no sign of her. When she finally walked in, she looked tired. She dropped her bag and hugged me. Sorry, long week. I held her close. I missed you. She smiled, but her eyes were distant. I'm just glad to be home. I wanted to believe her. But something felt different, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was missing something important. Julia barely unpacked. She tossed her suitcase in the corner and went straight to bed. I followed her, but she turned away, already half asleep. The next morning, I made breakfast. Eggs or pancakes, she mumbled, not hungry. I have emails to catch up on. I watched her scroll through her phone, barely looking at me. Did you bring me anything from Miami? She shook her head, didn't have time. Sorry. I tried to smile. It's okay. I'm just glad you're home. She nodded, but her eyes stayed glued to her screen. Ben called later. How's Julia? I hesitated. Tired, distant, he said. You sure she's okay? I shrugged. She's just stressed. He paused. You ever worry about Eric? I frowned. Why? Ben said. He's her boss. He's always around. Just be careful. I laughed it off. I trust her. But his words stuck with me. That night, Julia worked late in the study. I brought her tea. Want to watch a movie? She barely looked up. Maybe tomorrow. I left the cup on her desk. Don't work too hard. She didn't answer. The next day, I found a receipt in her coat pocket. It was for a luxury hotel, the Grand Palms. I stared at it. The date matched her trip, but it wasn't the hotel she told me about. I waited until she came home. Did you stay at the Grand Palms? She blinked. No. Why? I held up the receipt. I found this. She grabbed it, eyes wide. Oh, that was just for a client dinner. Eric paid for the room. I tried to believe her. You didn't mention it. She shrugged. It wasn't important. I nodded, but my stomach twisted. Ben came over that night. I showed him the receipt. He whistled. That's not normal, Alex. I said. She says it was a work thing. He shook his head. You need to talk to her. Really talk, I sighed. I don't want to seem jealous. Ben looked at me. You're not jealous. You're worried. There's a difference. I nodded. I'll try. Julia came home late again. I waited up. Can we talk? She looked tired. About what? She sat down. I'm just tired, Alex. Work is crazy. I reached for her hand. I missed you. I let her go. I watched her walk down the hall, feeling more alone than ever. The next morning, I called her coworker, Maya. Hey, did you and Julia stay at the Grand Palms? She hesitated. No, I was at the conference hotel. Why? I swallowed. Just curious, she said. Julia and Eric were together a lot. I barely saw her. I thanked her and hung up. Ben texted, find anything. I replied, just more questions. He sent back, I'm here if you need me. That night, Julia barely spoke to me. She ate dinner in silence, then went to bed early. I sat on the couch, staring at the hotel receipt. My mind raced with doubts. I wanted to trust her, but the signs were everywhere, and I couldn't ignore them anymore. I couldn't sleep. The hotel receipt burned a hole in my mind. I waited until Julia left for work, then sat at the kitchen table, staring at my phone. I called her. She answered, voice clipped. What is it, Alex? I tried to sound calm. I just want to talk. About the hotel, she sighed. I told you, it was a work dinner. Eric booked the room for everyone. I pressed, but Maya said she stayed at the conference hotel. She barely saw you. Julia's voice sharpened. Are you spying on me now? I swallowed. I just want the truth. She hung up. I sat there, heart pounding. I opened her social media, scrolling through her tagged photos. Nothing new. Then I checked Eric's profile. He'd posted a picture him and Julia, arm in arm, standing on a balcony with the ocean behind them. The caption read, best week of my life. My hands shook. I zoomed in. Julia was wearing a white dress, smiling at Eric like she used to smile at me. I called Ben. I found a photo. Julia and Eric. It looks like a honeymoon, not a business trip. He cursed. I'm coming over. While I waited, I called Maya again. Did Julia and Eric spend a lot of time together? She hesitated. Honestly, yes. They skipped most of the meetings. People noticed. I thanked her and hung up. Ben arrived, out of breath. Show me. I handed him my phone. He stared at the photo. That's not work, Alex. That's something else. I nodded, my throat tight. She lied to me. He put a hand on my shoulder. What are you going to do? I shook my head. I don't know. I need to hear her say it. Ben said, you deserve the truth. Don't let her twist it. I stared at the photo again. Julia and Eric, happy and free, while I sat at home waiting. I realized the business trip was never about work. It was a honeymoon. And I was the last to know. I waited for Julia to come home. I sat at the kitchen table. The photo of her and Eric open on my phone. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. She walked in, dropped her bag, and barely looked at me. Long day. I stood up. We need to talk, she sighed. Can it wait? I shook my head. No, sit down. She sat across from me, arms crossed. What is it, Alex? I slid my phone across the table. Explain this. She glanced at the screen, then looked away. It was just a dinner. I kept my voice steady. You're wearing a white dress. You're on a balcony with Eric. The caption says, best week of my life. That's not a business trip. She stared at the floor. It just happened. I didn't plan it. I clenched my fists. How long? She whispered, a few months. I felt like I'd been punched. You lied to me. You lied every day. She looked up, tears in her eyes. I'm sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. I shook my head. You could have told me. You could have left, she said. I was scared. Eric made me feel alive. You were always working, always tired. I laughed, bitter. So it's my fault. She wiped her eyes. No, but I needed more. Eric gave me that. I stood up. I gave you everything. I trusted you. She reached for my hand. Please, Alex, don't leave. We can fix this. I pulled away. No, I'm done, she sobbed. I love you. I'm sorry. I turned away. You love yourself, that's all. Ben walked in, saw us, and nodded at me. You ready? I grabbed my bag. Yeah. Julia stood up. Alex, please. Don't go. I looked at her one last time. You made your choice. Eric's voice echoed from the hallway. Is everything all right? I glared at him. You got what you wanted. I hope it was worth it. He smirked. She chose me. I shook my head. You deserve each other. Ben put a hand on my shoulder. Let's go. I walked out, my heart pounding, my world in pieces. But I knew I'd never come back. Ben let me crash on his couch. He didn't ask questions. He just handed me a beer and turned on the game. I stared at the screen, numb. I can't believe she did this. Ben shook his head. You didn't deserve it, man. I tried to laugh. I feel like an idiot. Everyone probably knew but me. He leaned forward. No one knew. Julia fooled everyone. My phone buzzed. Julia's name flashed. I let it ring. Ben said, "You're gonna answer?" I shook my head. I have nothing to say. He nodded. Good. She made her choice. The next morning, I woke up to a text from Maya. I'm sorry, Alex. I heard what happened. Eric's done this before. You're not the first. I called her. What do you mean? She sighed. Eric's had affairs with other women at work. HR knows, but he always covers it up. I felt sick. Did Julia know? Maya hesitated. I think she found out, but she didn't care. She wanted to believe she was different. I thanked her and hung up. Ben made coffee. You okay? I shrugged. Eric's a serial cheater. Julia's just another name on his list. Ben shook his head. She'll figure it out. Karma's real. Later, Julia's mom called. Alex, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Julia told me everything. I'm furious with her. I tried to stay calm. I don't know what to say. She said, you were good to her. She made a mistake. I hope you find happiness. I thanked her and hung up. Julia texted again. Please talk to me. I'm sorry. I miss you. I deleted the message. Ben came home with takeout. Eat. You need your strength. I managed a few bites. I feel empty. He nodded. It'll get better. I promise. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. I thought about Julia, about Eric, about all the lies. I realized I didn't miss her. I missed the person I thought she was. A week passed. I tried to keep busy, but my mind kept drifting back to Julia and Eric. Ben pushed me to get out of the apartment. Let's go for a walk, he said. Fresh air helps. We walked through the park. I asked, do you think she regrets it? Ben shrugged. She will. People like Eric always move on. My phone buzzed. An unknown number, I answered. A woman's voice snapped. Is this Alex Parker? Yes. Who's this? This is Linda Dalton, Eric's wife. Or soon-to-be ex-wife. I stopped walking. I'm sorry, I didn't. She cut me off. Don't apologize. I found out everything. Julia, the hotel, the fake business trip. Eric's been cheating for years. I'm divorcing him. I swallowed. I wish I could say I'm surprised. She sighed. You deserve better. So do I. We hung up. Ben raised an eyebrow. Who was that? Eric's wife. She's leaving him. Ben grinned. Told you. Karma. The next day Maya called. Did you hear? Julia got fired. I blinked. What? HR found out about her and Eric. Company policy. No relationships with supervisors. Eric's on leave, too. I almost laughed. Wow, Maya said. She's a mess. She tried to blame you. I shook my head. Of course she did. Ben handed me coffee. You look better, I smiled. I feel lighter. Julia tried to call again. I blocked her number. Later, I got an email from Ms. Grant, the HR manager. Alex, I wanted to let you know that Julia and Eric are no longer with the company. If you need a reference or support, let me know, I replied. Thank you. I appreciate it. That night, I sat on the balcony with Ben. He handed me a beer. You ever think about therapy? I nodded. Yeah, I think I need it. He grinned. Good. No shame in getting help. I booked an appointment with Dr. Lee, a therapist Ben recommended. Her office was calm, full of plants and soft music. She smiled. What brings you here, Alex? I took a deep breath. My wife cheated on me. My life fell apart. I want to move on. She nodded. That's a good place to start. We talked about Julia, about trust, about starting over. She listened, never judging. She said, You're stronger than you think. Healing takes time. I left her office feeling hopeful for the first time in weeks. A few days later, Linda Dalton emailed me. Thank you for being honest. I hope you find happiness. I replied, You too. Ben and I started going to the gym. He pushed me to try new things. Let's sign up for that cooking class, he said. I laughed. Why not? At the first class, I met new people. I even smiled, really smiled, for the first time in a long time. Ben nudged me. Told you, life goes on. I nodded. Yeah, it really does. That night, I lay in bed, thinking about everything that had happened. Julia and Eric were gone. Their reputations ruined. I was still standing. I realized I didn't want revenge. I just wanted peace. And for the first time, I believed I could have it. I started to feel like myself again. Therapy helped. Dr. Lee listened, asked questions, and never made me feel weak. She said, You're allowed to grieve, Alex, but you're also allowed to move forward. Ben noticed the change. You're smiling more, he said one morning. You even made coffee for both of us. I grinned. Don't get used to it. He laughed. I'll take what I can get. I got a call from a tech company I'd applied to. The manager, Sophie, sounded friendly. We'd like to offer you the job, Alex. Can you start next week? I almost dropped the phone. Yes, thank you. I'll be there. Ben high-fived me. Told you things would turn around. I started my new job on Monday. Sophie showed me around. We're a small team, but we look out for each other. I nodded. That's what I need, she smiled. You'll fit right in. The work was challenging, but I liked it. I liked Sophie, too. She was smart, funny, and always had a kind word. Ben texted me after my first day. How'd it go? I replied, Great. I think I'm going to like it here. He sent back a thumbs up and a pizza emoji. Julia sent a letter to Ben's apartment. I found it on the kitchen table. My name written in her handwriting. I opened it, hands shaking. Alex, I'm sorry. I ruined everything. Eric left me. I lost my job. I lost you. I wish I could take it all back. I hope you can forgive me someday. Julia, I read it twice, then put it away. I didn't feel anger, just a dull ache. Ben came in. You okay? I nodded. She's sorry, but it's too late. He said, You don't have to answer. I smiled. I won't. Sophie invited me to lunch. We sat outside talking about everything but work. She asked, "What do you want out of life, Alex?" I thought for a moment. "Peace, honesty, maybe a little happiness." She smiled. "You deserve all of that." I started going out with friends again. Ben dragged me to a concert. I laughed so hard I cried. One night, I sat on the balcony, looking at the city lights. Ben joined me. "You're different now." I nodded. "I feel different, stronger," he grinned. "Told you you'd get through it." I looked at him. "Thanks for not giving up on me." He shrugged. "That's what friends are for." I realized I was better off without Julia. I didn't need her apology. I didn't need her to fix anything. I just needed to keep moving forward. And for the first time, I wanted to. Julia tried one last time. She showed up at Ben's apartment on a rainy Saturday. Ben opened the door, saw her, and called for me. I stepped into the hallway. She looked tired, her eyes red. "Alex, please. I just want to talk." I shook my head. "There's nothing left to say." She reached for my hand. "I'm sorry. I know I hurt you. I lost everything." I pulled away. "You made your choices, Julia. I can't fix them for you." She started to cry. "I wish I could go back. I wish I could undo it all." I stayed quiet. Ben stood behind me, arms crossed. She whispered, "Do you hate me?" I shook my head. "No, I don't hate you. I just don't love you anymore." She wiped her face. "I don't know who I am without you," I said. "You'll figure it out. But I'm done holding on to the past." She nodded, defeated. "Goodbye, Alex." I watched her walk away, her footsteps echoing down the hall. Ben closed the door. "You okay?" I took a deep breath. "Yeah, I think I am." He handed me a towel. "You did the right thing." I sat on the couch, staring at the rain. I thought about everything I'd lost, and everything I'd learned. I called Dr. Lee. I let her go. "I feel free." She said, "That's what healing feels like. You're moving forward." I smiled. "Thank you." That night, I wrote a letter to myself. "You survived. You forgave. Now it's time to live." I folded the letter and put it in my drawer. For the first time, I felt ready for whatever came next. Months passed. I found a small apartment with big windows and a view of the city. I filled it with secondhand furniture and new hope. My job kept me busy, and Sophie made work feel lighter. One afternoon, Sophie stopped by my desk. "Want to grab coffee after work?" I smiled. "Yeah, I'd like that." We walked to a cafe down the street. She asked, "How are you really doing?" I thought for a second. "Better. I'm not looking over my shoulder anymore." She nodded. "You seem lighter." I laughed. "I feel lighter. I'm finally moving on." She sipped her coffee. "You deserve it." I looked at her. "So do you." We talked about everything: music, movies, family. She told me about her parents, how she lost her dad last year. I shared stories about my own parents, how I missed them every day. That weekend, I visited my parents. My mom hugged me tight. "You look happy, Alex." I smiled. "I am. I'm finally okay." My dad clapped me on the back. "We're proud of you, son." We ate dinner together, laughing about old times. I realized how much I'd missed this. Back at work, Sophie and I grew closer. She made me laugh. She listened when I needed to talk. We took things slow. No pressure. No secrets. Ben called one night. "You sound happy." I smiled. "I am. For the first time in a long time." He said, "You deserve it, man. I'm proud of you." I thanked him. "I couldn't have done it without you." He laughed. "You would have found your way. You always do." I hung up and looked around my apartment. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine. Sophie texted, "Movie night at my place." I replied, "I'll bring popcorn." I realized I wasn't the same person I was before. I was stronger, wiser, free, and for the first time, I was excited for what came next. A year later, my life felt brand new. I woke up early, made coffee, and watched the sunrise from my window. My apartment was filled with little signs of happiness: photos of my parents, a plant that was somehow still alive, and Sophie's favorite mug on the counter. Sophie stayed over most weekends now. She'd wake up, stretch, and smile at me. You're up early again, I grinned. Old habits. She poured herself coffee. Big plans today, I nodded. Family brunch. You ready? She laughed. I'm always ready for your mom's pancakes. We drove to my parents' house. Ben was already there, helping my dad set the table. My mom hugged Sophie. Your family now? Sophie squeezed my hand. He makes it easy. Ben grinned. You two are disgustingly cute. We all laughed. The house felt warm, safe. After brunch, my mom pulled me aside. She said, I'm proud of you, Alex. You've come so far. I hugged her. I couldn't have done it without you and Dad. She smiled. You found your way. That's what matters. Later, Sophie and I walked by the park. She stopped, looking at the pond. Do you ever think about the past? I nodded. Sometimes, but it doesn't hurt anymore. I learned a lot. She looked at me like, what? I thought for a moment. That pain doesn't last forever. That family can break and heal. That I'm stronger than I thought. She smiled. I love you, Alex. I took her hand. I love you too. That night, I sat at my desk and wrote a letter to my younger self. Dear Alex, you're going to lose things you thought you'd have forever. You'll be betrayed by people you trust, but you'll survive. You'll find new reasons to hope. Don't give up. The future you. I folded the letter and put it in a drawer. Sophie came in, holding 2 mugs. What are you writing? I smiled. Just a letter to myself. A reminder. She sat beside me. You don't need reminders. You're living proof. I kissed her forehead. Thank you for being here. She leaned on my shoulder. Thank you for letting me in. We watched the city lights together, quiet and content. A few weeks later, Ben called. You ready for the big day? I laughed. I think so. I'm nervous, he said. You'll be fine. Sophie's the best thing that ever happened to you. I grinned. I know. The wedding was small. Just family. Ben is my best man, and a few close friends. My mom cried happy tears. My dad gave a toast. Sophie looked beautiful, her eyes shining. The judge asked, Do you, Alex Parker, take Sophie to be your wife? I smiled. I do. Sophie squeezed my hands. I do, too. We exchanged rings. Everyone cheered. Afterward, Ben clapped me on the back. Full circle, man. You made it. I hugged him. Thanks for never giving up on me. He grinned. That's what friends are for. Sophie and I danced under the stars. She whispered, Are you happy? I looked at her. Really looked at her. Yeah, I am. She grinned. Me too. As the night ended, I realized that sometimes, betrayal is the beginning of a better life. I'd lost so much, but I'd found even more. I was ready for whatever came next. And for the first time, I truly believed I deserved it.